सर ये आपने पीकैप का डॉक्यूमेंट शेयर करा है कुछ?
जी जी,
सर बट ये खुल नहीं रहा है।
ये वाइट शार्ट पे खुलेगा।
ओके
डाउनलोड
वाइट,
नहीं हो रहा है।
डाउनलोड भी नहीं हो रहा है। मैं इसको भी सिस्टम पे करके देख लेता हूँ।
टू वाइट है।
हाँ, सिस्टम पे डाउनलोड हो रहा है।
हुआ है।
एक मिनट, एक मिनट देगा सर। सर लास्ट क्लास में आपने कोई चीज इंस्टॉल तो नहीं करवाई थी ना सर?
नहीं नहीं।
बस सिक्योरिटी लेयर्स के बारे में पढ़ा रहे थे आप।
जी।
क्योंकि प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन तो नहीं शुरू हुई ना सर।
प्रैक्टिकल नहीं शुरू। आज करेंगे, हम आज प्रैक्टिकल करेंगे।
हाँ, मेरे सेकंड क्लास में शुरू हुई थी, तो मैं रिवीजन में उसमें देख रहा था जरा यूट्यूब पे।
हाँ, यूट्यूब पे आप देख लें। सवाल वगैरह हो तो कुछ पूछ सकते हैं। वैसे हम प्रैक्टिकल तो कुछ नहीं करवाया।
अच्छा।
Okay, okay, sir. Good day, sir. Please, I can't see your screen. Is it for a purpose?
No, no, I'm not presenting anything yet.
Okay, okay, okay. Fine.
Yes,
Thank you.
we'll do it in the next hour.
Okay, sir.
Seven.
Okay, sir.
After we take the break, huh?
Okay, sir.
We'll
Thank
do
you,
the
sir.
analysis together,
Okay, sir. Then, then,
and then I'm
then
gonna
sir.
share the file so that you guys can do it by your own, and then share your answers and tell me how you
Oh,
guys
oh,
do it.
okay, sir. So then we are here to receive the materials for the day one
Yeah,
that you promised.
yes. I'm a little bit behind the schedule for the materials. I'll try to share it by today or tomorrow.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. So today we'll be covering the fundamentals of network for blue teams and what kind of knowledge you should have to understand how the network works. Anyone is familiar with the OSI layer?
Yes sir, I am.
Yes, please. What is an OSI layer? Just
OSI,
imagine that
yes.
we are not technical personnel here. We don't understand network. We don't understand IT. How will you make them understand what is an OSI layer?
Basically, OSI layer works in 7 different stages. There's an application layer, presentation layer, presentation layer, data link layer, network layer, and physical layer. And
There's one missing.
physical layer, application, presentation, session.
There are two missing: transportation
Sorry.
and network. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Data link.
So starting from the physical layer, layer
No,
7.
no, no. Do not. No. Just tell me what like what's the meaning of OSI layer? Like, why do we refer to OSI layer? Do not explain each one. I'll explain that, but tell me why do we refer to this framework?
Each layer have different frameworks, and each layer have their own sort of protocols which they have to follow and uh, make access to the network, and we can utilize things and access things by crossing the 7 layers.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad. So an OSI layer it has seven different stages. So how am I communicating to you through this medium, right? That's also an OSI layer arc. One packet is transmitted through all these layers until it reaches to the end user, until it reaches to us through uh, application representation layer. So one packet, like if I have sent you ABC to Mr. Ahmad, so Mr. Ahmad should receive ABC, right? So these are the layers that confirms if the packet is received, if the packet is received without any interruption, if the packet is not modified during the transmission. So there are different layers of OSI which use different protocols, and it has different purposes. There are two. So inside the OSI layer, inside the OSI. So there's another layer that's called TCP/IP. So not Mr. Ahmed, who tells me what is TCP/IP layer? What does that do? Just explain high level. Do not tell me what each layer does. Anyone?
Sir, basically TCP/IP is a transmission control protocol or internet protocol. It is the protocol or the standard through which data flows on the internet.
Yes, correct. So why don't we use just OSI layer and not TCP/IP layer? Why are we referring to that TCP/IP layer?
OSI layer is basically the theoretical model, and TCP/IP is the implementation of OSI.
Okay, so how many layers? How many layers that TCP/IP has?
TCP/IP, I guess, three layers: transmission control and IP, data
So some,
link. Uh,
yeah, so
uh,
some has some state as 3 layers. Some say it's 4 layers, right? So four
mm.
layers means there's network layer as well in the TCP/IP.
Yep. Yes, there's a 4 layers.
So,
So
sorry, sir. Sorry,
yeah,
sir. You get, but what's the standard? Is it three or four? Because I know it's four. So to some that
no,
are
no, the
saying it's three,
standard. So
yes.
it varies. It varies. It varies. So sometimes they use 3. Sometimes they use 4. But the standard says 4. They use application layer, transport layer, and sorry, they use 5 layers, not even 4. They use 5 layers, and and some they use 4 layers. Okay, so application layer, transport layer, network layer, and they exclude physical data link layer to physical layer. They make it one in some models. In other model, it's like five layers where we have application layer, where we have transport layer, network layer, we have data link layer, we have physical layer. So TCP/IP has 5 layers, and in OSI, application layer, presentation layer, and session layer serve the same purpose. In TCP/IP layer 5, which is application layer, is presentation, right? Through the protocols. Like let's say we have HTTPS. So HTTPS means the user now is browsing the packets that were sent uh, from the server, right? So if you come down to layer 1, the physical layer is where the internet is connected through, right? And then it comes to data link layer, and then network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, until it reaches to the application layer to the end user. So TCP/IP is also used
Sir,
in communication models to see how the system is connected, to see how data is transmitted through it. Okay, why is it important to understand the fundamentals of TCP/IP for Blue Team? Why do you think that we need to understand this model in order to determine if determine what's coming in the infrastructure and decide if that's malicious or not, right? So we have different protocols for each layer, and those protocols are the one which gets exploited. So you need to understand if that communication, if the communication is happening through HTTPS, you need to understand if that HTTPS is serving the actual process, actual purpose of to the end user. Let's say if he's browsing google.com, is he really browsing to google.com, or is he on the attacker's server? So there are different protocols which can be abused, and then it can be used by the attackers to gain access to the infrastructure. So the TCP/IP model has a physical layer where it comes to the hardware side, right? So it uses the IEEE 802.3 protocol to convert the data into the Ethernet connection, and then it goes up to the network layer. So in the network layer, the packets get formatted, and then it transported through through the next layer, which is transport layer. And in that layer, it ensures that the data is encoded and it has to be transmitted to the application layer. So in OSI we have a transport layer, and then we have we have transport layer, and then we have session layer, presentation layer, application layer. So session layer, once it gets to session layer from transport layer, it makes sure that the session is maintained, and then it goes to presentation layer, and then application layer. Okay, so
So session layer not only connect the session, it will also in deep inspection they also maintain the transfer of data. Like if somebody has 10 MB card in his system and somebody the data is transferring 1 GB traffic, so it will also manage the traffic and the packet size in session layer.
yes, that's correct. That's correct. So what about the application? What about the TCP/IP? Where does that happen in TCP/IP?
TCP/IP happens in layer 4 transport layer.
It happens in transport layer. No, that will happen transport layer. In application layer.
It's
Because-
yeah, it's depend upon a little bit of session layer, also in application presentation layer, and some sort of like layer 4. Like it's work in layer 6, layer 5, and layer 4. These three layers combined will majorly affect the traffic of TCP. And these three layers are majorly transferring the data, securing the things, analyzing things, and forwarding the traffic.
Yes. So forwarding
as
the
well as
traffic and
also-
routing the traffic, it happens through network layer in OSI model, right?
Yeah,
But
it's like layer 3, layer 3 or layer 4. Both layer can be transferred.
but in TCP/IP, it happens through transmission control protocol, which is in transport layer.
Yeah, transport. Yeah, you can say that.
Why are you confused?
No, I'm not confused. I'm just thinking about every layer's different sort of working. That even every layers have different sort of working, and they have some
Okay, let me
headers which
explain it
is
to you.
also working behind the scene, which normally people don't know about that.
Okay,
That-
okay. Let me take you through each layer, and then we can go to the other model. Okay, let's start with the OSI layer, OSI layers. Okay, the physical layer, and then we go until we reach to the presentation layer, application layer. Okay.
Okay, sir, please, can I ask? So if I say that the TCP/IP, the TCP and the IP happens in both transport layer and application layer, Am I correct?
No, come again. You're saying that it happens in transfer layer,
In both,
and
yes,
network layer.
yes. It happens
No,
in
it
transport
consists
layer
of
and application layer.
no. It has to go through four to five layers. It has to go through physical layer and then data and then network and then transport and then application layer. So you guys are confused. Okay, let me explain this and then you guys can ask questions regarding it. Okay. The number one is it's the physical layer where the raw bits are transmitted through physical media, right? Through IEEE. So in this, it deals with the cables, it deals with the connectors and signals. The main purpose is it converts digital data into the optical signals, and sometimes it also handles data rate modulation and physical topology. That happens in layer one. In layer two, the data link layer, that layer uses MAC addresses to identify the devices, and it also performs error detection and correction to check the framework sequence. And
Yeah, it's okay.
it also breaks the data into frames,
Yep, exactly.
and also that manage access to the physical medium, that at Ethernet or switches. Okay.
Yeah,
It,
layer two
in the
switches both are.
network layer, it uses the IP address to route to the address, to route to the to understand the destination. So it has to determine which destination it has to go through the IP address, and it also manages the packets and also routing tables. Okay, and it supports the layer 3 protocol, ICMP. What's ICMP? ICMP is Internet Control Message Protocol. So when we have to check if the internet is up or not, we ping. Let's say if we have IP 192.168.1.1, so we ping that IP to see if the internet is up. How does that happen? What happens when we ping 192.168.3.1? So it sends a packet. Let's say we have an IP of 10.10.10. So 10.10.10.10 that sends the IP to 192.168.1.1. And how that calculates if the destination IP is up or not. So it has to receive an acknowledgement that he receives that he received the packet. That's what ping does. That's what the ICMP protocol does. So transport layer is it has to ensure that it's reliable and it has a fast delivery of data, which means that it will use TCP and it will also use UDP to make sure that it has connected, because TCP is reliable because it does not send it just the packet it does not send the packets without the acknowledgement. Once he receives the acknowledgement, then he sends the packet. In UDP, it sends the packet but without acknowledgement. It just keeps sending until it reaches, let's say we have 100 packets, so until 100 he he sends it and then that's it. But in TCP he sends one packet and then he waits, if he checks if the acknowledgement is received or
Yeah,
not,
it's
and that happens in few milliseconds.
UDP ways are reliable and wait for acknowledgement, and TCP is wait for acknowledgement and reliable, and UDP is like video calling, used for video calling and calls.
Yes, okay,
But
okay.
they
So, okay,
do
let
not
me
need
finish
confirmation.
explaining. And if you have any question, Ahmad, just ask, okay? Let me finish explaining.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So, so, so it also, so transport layer also has one responsibility. It makes sure that there are no errors during the transmission. And it also handles segmentation of the data. So in session layer, so now next with the session layer, it establishes and manages the session, which means it manages the sessions on the checkpoints and the recovery points, and it also handles the session authentication let's say if I'm logged in as user A, so session layer is making sure that I maintaining the session, and if anything happened to that session, the session layer is responsible to recover from it. Okay, it can, so we can make session through SQL, and for Windows we can make session through NetBIOS. In presentation layer, it has to translate the data and it has to format the data. So here comes the encoding and decoding part. And also encryption and decryption applied through SSL TLS. Now TLS version 1.3 is used because version 1.1 is also compromised and 1.2 is also vulnerable. So nowadays we use 1.3, and presentation layer, it makes sure that the data is readable for the application layer. Why? Because it needs to present it to the end user. So for application layer is for the end user, where the user is, let's say, browsing an email. So it has passed through physical layer, it has passed through data link layer, through network layer, transport session, until it reaches to the until it reaches to you as an email in your inbox. Okay, so we have different protocols. We have HTTPS, we have FTP, we have SMTP, we have DNS. So that happens in the application layer. For the TCP/IP model, we have a 5-layer. Okay, we'll go with the 5-layer. Okay, so you guys don't get confused. Anyone is confused about 4-layer or 5-layer, we will be using 5-layer. So in 5-layer practical network framework, so that uses the real world communication. And in the first layer, the physical layer, the same thing happens where the OSI layer, where the raw bits are transmitted through the physical media, through cables, through signals, through connectors. Okay, and the data is converted into optical or electrical signals. In the same layer, data transmission rate and physical topologies are defined, and repeaters, hubs, these are the supported devices. So in data link layer, they use MAC addresses to identify the devices. See, it's the same. So in data link layer and the OSI model, it uses the MAC addresses for device identification, and that happens in data link layer, in link layer 2. Okay, and it's responsible for detecting the error, for controlling the flow, and it also handles the access to the transmission medium. You can say Wi-Fi or Ethernet. The network layer, or it's also called the internet layer. Here it uses the IP addressing. Here also it uses the here it also determines which is the best path for the packet to reach to the destination, and also it includes protocols like ICMP, IPN, ARP. In transport layer, it provides end-to-end communication and it's reliable. So in transport layer, in OSI model, it uses TCP to be reliable, and then it uses UDP for fast communication. And it also handles segmentation and sequencing. So in application, so it now the 2 layers are bypassed. So it all included in application layer. Okay, in application layer, so data is now being formatted for the end user, so that the end user is able to view the actual packet that was meant to be received on the destination. So it handles how the file access, the remote file access should be. It handles how the emails should be shown. It handles whatever the user is searching on the internet through browsing. So OSI model has a separate session layer which manages the connection. But in TCP/IP, that same application is the same session layer. Session layer's task is done by application layer in TCP/IP model. In presentation layer at OSI model, presentation layer handles the data for formatting and encryption. But in TCP/IP model, data formatting encryption is done within the application layer. Okay, so session layer layer's work is done on application layer in TCP/IP model. So in TCP/IP, in TCP/IP they have defined protocols like IP, like HTTP, okay, DNS. So, but in OSI, each layer has different protocol, and also the physical layer is same for both. So IEEE 802 is used for the protocol, and then um, and then um, and then it comes to the application layer, so that the end user can understand the data. So why are we teaching this, right? Why do you guys need to understand what happens to each layer? Because each layer has different attacks, and organizations that use firewalls also have next generation firewall where each layer is protected. So that's the difference between a normal firewall where it's only protecting two layers, application layer, and it's not protecting all layers, the 7 layers. So each layer has different protocol, means each protocol is hardened by the firewall. Okay, moving on with anyone has any question regarding these two, please?
Okay, sir. Yes, I have, sir.
Yes,
So, sir, please, I don't know, you may have explained it earlier, but for the sake of clarity, and I keep asking myself, what actually, in real sense, the application of this OSI model in cybersecurity? Because as we are reading it out, I was just like, are we going to cram all these very things? Even if I do, what is its impact or its application in blue team? So that's what been going through my mind all this while. So, sir, so are we going to cram all these things? What actually is its application in cybersecurity?
so I'm gonna give you a high level because we still have a lot to go. You'll find your answers, but I'm gonna give you a high level, which means that if you're receiving an alert against HTTPS, if the attacker is attacking HTTPS, then we are defending that layer, the application layer only. Okay. So each layer has different attacks, and each layer is protected by different security hardenings. You just need to understand how the network works in order to understand how the attack is happening in your organization. And then there are famous protocols and ports where you need to understand how the attack is created by the attacker and what are the parameters that we need in order to defend from that attack. Just stay with me. If I'm still unable to answer your question, just ask, okay, by the end of this session. So next we will be discussing about the common enterprise ports and protocols that are used. So there are many famous. Yes. So there are many famous. There are more than 6,000 ports in one computer. But as best practices, information security managers try to close all the ports that are unnecessary, that are not used in the organization. And also there are organizations where they use a, let's say for RDP, they are using 389. Okay, so there are organizations where they change the internal code and to just block the attackers. Okay, so the we'll try to we'll try to take top 10 and we'll try how these are attacked and what kind of scenarios that comes to your dashboard so that you can understand uh, how different protocols are used. Let's give me a sec.
Okay, sir. Can I go on with my second question?
Sorry, come again.
So I was asking, can I proceed with my second question?
Can you receive what?
Said I have second question to ask. Can I proceed with that
Yes,
question?
yes. Second question, please.
Okay, sir. So, sir, when you say that the TCP is reliable, and I know that you have UDP, which is more faster, or by extension is connectionless, right? Now we are saying that TCP is reliable. Can you throw little bit light to that fact? If we say TCP is reliable, sir.
Yes. So TCP. So have you have you ever downloaded something through uTorrent?
Yes.
So what happens when you disconnect the internet? Let's say if you're downloading a movie from the through uTorrent, if you disconnect the internet, that so it it gets disconnected, right?
Yes.
The download
Yes,
is
sir.
not happening, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But what is UDP doing in that situation? UDP is sending packets, right? It's sending packets. So it sends the packet and it keeps sending the same packet until he let's say if he's sending packet one, so now the TCP makes sure that TCP one is sorry, the packet one is received from on your end, right? And UDP keeps sending packets. Let's say if you disconnect the internet, what happens is UDP keeps sending packet, but here TCP comes and he makes sure that every packet is received. But UDP keeps sending packet with losses. That's what UDP does. TCP is more reliable because TCP makes sure that packet is received without any modification. Hold on to your questions if you did not understand. I'll try to explain it by the end of it. Okay. Let's
Oh,
move on to yes. Go ahead.
no. This explanation hits. I think I've gotten the clear view, right? But I'm yet to get clarified on the previous one I asked, sir.
You are not understanding TCP and UDP.
So I say that I have understood the TCP, the second one I asked. I'm well cleared now, but the previous one I asked, I'm not satisfied or yet cleared by
Okay,
your
so okay.
responses.
Just hold on to your question. Let's end this and then you can ask. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Just hold on to it. Okay. So now we have common enterprise ports and protocols. Let's say we have port 80, port 443, port 25, port 110, port 143. So there are many ports, and you cannot memorize each port, and you cannot just memorize what each port does. But you have to know what are the famous ports. Let's say for the web traffic, they use HTTPS, right? 443 is everywhere nowadays. People do not use HTTP, which is port 80, because HTTP is not secure. Means that any traffic happens through HTTP. Let's say if I am sitting in middle of server A and server B as a malicious actor, I can see what's happening between these two servers. Let's say if user of server A entered credentials admin so that he can authenticate to a website, and that website is hosted by server B, right? So I can see the traffic. I can search in the packet. I can see what the user transmitted to. So how can we make sure that the whatever happening between server A and server B is secured and encrypted? It is through using HTTPS, because HTTPS use encrypted traffic. Okay. And for email protocols, we use SMTP port 25 to send emails, and most famously, emails are used for phishing, right? For the end user, so that they can steal information from you. And we have talked about it in the session in two sessions, I remember. So it's used to exfiltrate data, exfiltrate sensitive information, so that that information is used against you. How can we make sure that we are secure against attacks from phishing? Is making sure that our user is aware and our user is not signing up on unofficial websites and etc. Okay. So why POP3 is used? What is the purpose of POP3? POP3 uses port 110. It means that you can download. So POP3 is used in the inbox. Okay, where any email is received in your inbox, POP3 is responsible to make sure that he downloaded the uh, he downloaded the um, he downloaded the email from the server. Okay. Moving on to IMAP. So there are different. So one email can use POP3. It can use either POP3 or POP or IMAP. IMAP is more reliable because it syncs emails across different devices, and more mainly organizations use IMAP. Okay. For the other port is DNS. This port is very famous, port 53, and that is responsible to convert the domain into IP addresses. We cannot memorize IP addresses, right? We memorize names. So how does google.com reaches to google.com is through the IP address. So 192, let's say 192.168.1.1 is assigned to google.com. That's how the internet. That's how the internet know that I have to take this user to google.com is through the IP address. So can anyone tell me what is DNS tunneling? How does DNS tunneling happens? Let's say, okay, let's say if so we will learn two things. One is we will be able to understand and determine if, let's say, abc.com is malicious or not. I remember that in the last session I told you guys that if the domain name is very new, it's suspicious, right? Let's say if we have investigated an attack where the attacker registered some malicious domain like 2 days before we received the email, right? That's how we know that if the domain is new, it means that it can be used by the attackers for different purposes. Let's say for malware, so that the user can get the malware in their PCs, so that it can exfiltrate some data. Okay, so DNS tunneling is where the attackers use multiple domains to hide multiple domains through DNS queries in order to bypass the controls that are set for security. It's also it also involves many other protocols, so that the user gets tricked into. So what kind of alert that we receive is, we see one PC is attempting many domain names in order to reach to the destination. That's how we know that DNS tunneling is happening here, because it exploits the DNS protocol. And what happens through those tunnels? They can deliver malware, they can exfiltrate data. Okay.
So can you show some practical implementation so it's better to get understand through a practical implementation?
Practical implementation will happen in the second half, but technical demonstration right now it cannot happen because we are focusing on Wireshark today. We'll analyze the PCAP file and we'll try to get the answers. Okay.
Okay.
So moving on to the next one. Next one is SSH. SSH is also abused through brute force, and number one famous tool for brute forcing SSH is through Hydra. The port that is used is port 22. Okay, and how can we limit that attack? Is we have to authorize only the IPs that need to connect to the SSH. Okay, we have to make sure that if the account A is hit, let's say 50 times in 1 minute, then it gets locked. So these are the countermeasures that we can take in order to protect port number 22. So whenever I give you a scenario, let's say I'm saying that we can brute force this, we can brute force through SSH, right? So your mind should think of how can we stop that attack, right? What are the countermeasures in order to save user A, let's say? You should think like that. Okay, how can we be secure against RDP connections? So SSH is used for Linux and RDP is used for Windows, right? So SSH is port 22 and RDP is port 3389. The same tool can also exploit and can also brute force the endpoint. Let's say I have 192.168.1.1 and I'm trying to exploit this endpoint, and I have seen a port which is 3389 is open and it receives any connection. So if I try to connect, it just asks for the password and then it lets me in, right? But you do not have the password yet. The attacker does not have the password. What he does, he deploys a dictionary against that IP and he tries to log in. Can anyone know what's can anyone tell me what's password spraying? What does
Sorry, come
password
again, sir?
spraying means?
Password springs.
Spraying.
There is a brute force attack.
Brute force attack.
Yes.
Sort of.
No, not sort of. It is a brute force attack.
Yeah, basically it's a playbook of passwords and they will launch like a brute force.
But what's the main difference between brute force and password spraying? Because brute force is brute forcing, right? What's the difference between spraying and brute forcing? What are we doing here? Like, what's the major difference? So spraying, right? Spraying. Yeah, we are spraying something. If we are doing brute forcing, means we are spraying passwords, right? Let's say we have user A, and against that user, I am no. So that's the other way around. We have many users, and we have, let's say, a password 123. So password 123 then is brute force against user A, user B, user C, user D, and user E, right? That's password spraying. And then let's say if user B is authenticated through password 123, it means that we are successful, right? So that's what password spraying does. We take multiple users against one password. That's the main major difference. In brute force, we take one user against multiple passwords.
Means
So
password string is like a common password which is used by multiple users.
yes. So moving on to the SMB protocol. SMB protocol is famously used in Windows networks. How that can be attacked? Let's say if I'm exploiting if I'm exploiting server A, and in server A I find out that we have Windows shares, we have network shares, right? If we abuse that, if we try to access through that, that's how and we try to exfiltrate some data through network shares. That's how we are exploiting port 445. There are some attacks that happen against 445. Let's say that I am trying to exploit port 445 of server of endpoint A. Okay, so that endpoint is then, so it has to come through steps. We have to try to brute force the SMB share, okay, and check if the username and the password is valid. Once it's validated, then we try to log in and get whatever data that is resident in network shares. So one way to secure that is to not like, if you're enabling network share, make sure that it's not publicly available. And if it's publicly available, then we have to make sure also it is changed, because there are some organizations that use let's say someone from other countries to give them access so that they can access their own data, right? Their official data. So one way is to change the code and assign the services, let's say SMB, so it can assign, the services can be assigned. The second one is port 21. That is also file transfer protocol, and 21 is used. 21 is used as unencrypted. It is used in an encrypted format, but 22 is used in a secure format. Means the communication that's happening is encrypted. Okay. Let's take a break, and then we come back. Come back. What topic is here today beside data communication models? No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. There's still. So
And the Mark,
yes, yes, yes. We have discussed ports, famous ports. We are still discussing that.
okay, okay.
Please, I can't hear him again. Hope all is well. Please, can anybody hear him?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Have you guys downloaded the file, the PCAP file? I don't think that you guys have Wireshark installed, right?
Yes, sir. How will we download it?
I don't think that you guys well, just try to download Wireshark. And the laptops that proceed. Let's finish with the theoretical, then we can proceed with this. Questions so that we can proceed. Guys, this one, okay? So in this class, we'll answer these questions, okay? The rest of the course will be answered by you, not in this session, not in the coming session, or coming Saturday. We have taught common enterprise codes and protocols, right? We move into the normal versus malicious behavior. How will we identify the normal traffic from the malicious ones? So keep in mind the ports that we have explained. There is also port 161, port 123 for network for time synchronization. There is MySQL used at 306, MS SQL used at 1433, PostgreSQL is 5432. So will be taking out the normal traffic behaves versus how would the malicious traffic. Okay. How would you know if someone someone is suspicious to enter a bank, or if you can say that if this guy enters a bank, if he could rob the bank, right? So number one is through the looks of that thief. Let's say if he's hiding he has mask on his face, and he's wearing heavy clothes, and he has a weapon. Yeah, that's the characteristics of the person who is going to rob the bank. So what about the malicious traffic? How would someone identify the normal traffic from the malicious one? So the normal traffic is the user visits, let's say Google, so he types google.com and he visits the website, right? uh, what happens if and the user gets to google.com. What happens if you search google.com, but instead of you going to google.com, you are redirected to an unknown domain? That's a malicious traffic, right? And when you are redirected to that domain, there's a executable being downloaded. That's not the normal behavior of the domain. That's a suspicious and malicious behavior. Let's say if you as a user trying to, so there are automated DDoS attacks, right? So if IP, let's say 1010, is trying to visit, or it's trying to send many packets to, let's say, a, a university has a website, and that user is, or that attacker is trying to send many packets to that website. So it means that that traffic is not normal traffic. That is malicious traffic, right? So that happens to, so that's about the web traffic. That's traffic to HTTP or HTTPS. For email traffics, for to understand what is the normal traffic and malicious traffic is unauthorized phishing email being received. You have so many emails received at, let's say, at companyabc.com. So that's how the SMTP server is overwhelmed, and that's how other emails will be received in your inbox or in the organization, right? So that's how the SMTP traffic is being abused. You will know the normal traffic. Normal traffic is serving to, let's say, the purpose of the user is to visit one website and download something. Downloading file apc.exe. If that user is downloading the file, that means that the same file has to be downloaded, right? Not the other file that is malicious, right? The other file which is set up by the attacker is being downloaded. So that can happen through, so either you visit a domain through clicking some link, or through downloading something from the email from the internet, or you receive so many, like one attacker is giving you so many pop-ups or requests for you to enter or to download one thing, right? One file. Also, let's say you're in an organization. Let's say you're working in an organization, right? So my task is to download a report from a network share and analyze it and do whatever task is given by the manager. So this is a normal behavior, right, of the network traffic. That's what I'm doing. But how can we differentiate between the malicious one, right? If we receive, so I'm doing this through SMB protocol. If we receive unusual connections on that SMB protocol, we receive many login failures through SMB. It means there is something wrong with the network, right? We can confirm this by the network team or by the system team, where he can tell us, okay, if there was one user who was trying to log in and he was unable to enter his password, he was not remembering it, so he entered many times. So that's how the user failed to log in, and that's how we know, okay, that was a normal traffic, but it was failed because the user did not enter the right password. But how can this be malicious is when that user is when the attacker is trying with different usernames, with different passwords to exploit the SMB protocol. Okay. And so on. So that's how the normal traffic and the malicious traffic. I have given you a file on the group. Okay, let me share my screen. Just first download this file. I can show you how to. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, so we have left with one more, which is packet-based versus flow-based monitoring. So packet-based monitoring means that packet-based monitoring means that see the file of PCAP, right? I have sent you. So in that file, we have many packets of let's say of 1 or 2 hours of communication happened. So we can take that packet and analyze it through tools like Wireshark, okay? And there are other tools also, Seek, can use Seek as well, okay? But I use Wireshark for analyzing whatever happened through like 1 or 2 hours of 2 hours time. Okay? Is we have many packets and we are able to identify each packet, what happens to those, what happened in that moment, in that second. You can see that through that packet. Okay? So in different organizations, people use different tools, and those tools are used. Those tools they use the tools they use packet-based analysis, and then they provide it to the end user, to the security blue team, or they used the other one, which is flow-based analysis. So flow-based is whatever happening, whatever happening in the systems, right? Like, let's say if we receive, so let's say that there are 5 different servers in company L. Okay? So if the communication is happening from server A to server D, so there is a flow of communication going on, right? So that happens through the and that's happening through different switches, and that is happening through the network inside the organization. It has different IPs and it has different protocols. And let's move on to the investigation of PCAP file. I know you guys do not have that yet, but I am sharing with you the link so that you guys can download this tool, and then you guys can upload this tool in your in the Wireshark once it's downloaded. And I'm gonna walk you through each of each of these steps that we'll take to analyze this. Um, Let me just share with you. Okay. Just download this file whenever you get time, and then try to upload this file into share my screen. Let me know when it's visible.
Hello, sir. Wanted to ask.
Yes.
In the last class, you asked to make an account on AnyRun. Can I upload this file that you send on AnyRun?
Yes, you can upload the file, but it won't give you anything. It still needs the tool to identify the package, right? Just make an account on that so that I'm going to share links with you so that you can analyze these links on AnyRun.
Okay.
I'm unable to share my VM. Just send this live. I think there's a limitation. I cannot share my Kali Linux here. And just tell me when this is visible. Is it visible to you all?
Yes.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the file, right? This is what I think. Something wrong. let me share my screen again. So I'm gonna share with you the questions and the file later. So this is how these packets look like. How many packets we have? How many packets we have? We have 4889 packets. Okay. So when I gave my CH practical, they gave me one PCAP file and they asked me to analyze this file. So they asked me to tell them what time was we have received the maximum traffic from the servers. Okay, so from the attacker. So wait, here we have. So if you're using Wireshark without any, let's say if you're trying to capture traffic, you can use, let's say, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys can just capture from here. And then let's say you're going to google.com. Okay. And this is capturing the traffic. It is capturing from messengers. That's how the network, that's how these packets are going, like it's flowing, right? Let's say if you have entered a domain where it does not have HTTPS and then you enter some credentials, you can see all the HTTP traffic. Okay. If you have entered any credentials, you can see here one more option where you can see what has been transmitted. So let's do an extensive session tomorrow for this file. I'm gonna share the file with you in the group. If you guys have downloaded the Wireshark, you guys can you guys can access it through Wireshark, and I'm gonna share with you the questions. If you guys are able to answer all the questions, it's good. If not, I'm gonna help you tomorrow. I'm gonna go through each question and I'm gonna answer it with you, so you guys can understand how have I analyzed the traffic. So usually the SOC professionals, they do not so their daily routine does not require them to analyze PCAP files. They're doing the main work where they're receiving alerts on the dashboard, and that tool is helping them to analyze each packet and then displaying whatever information they need to worry about. Okay. In digital forensics, if you're a network digital forensic investigator, then you will have access to these files, and then you can investigate, and whatever indicators is tracked from this file, then given to the relevant team. So we'll do the analysis from this file. Okay, I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna share it with you. OpenWire.pkf file. Okay, let me just download this. So it has 8 questions, okay? And also tomorrow we will be covering how the IDS IPS works, and because we are doing PCAP investigation as well, so we'll be understanding how the network anomalies happen and how that is detected as well. Let me just share with you the questions that need to be answered. And let's share the that's a bit frown. Unformative question. Yeah, I've sent it to you all. Let me get the question. And for about the notes, I'm going to share the notes either today or by tomorrow. I have shared some questions for you to answer by analyzing the DEPIK file. Okay, just I'm going to delete the earlier file that I've sent. That does not really nice. I've deleted this file. Okay. So tomorrow, because I use Linux and I haven't downloaded Wireshark on Windows, probably gonna download it on Windows as well. And then we will be able to analyze it together, understand how the attacker was able to exploit this, what kind of vulnerability he exploited, and what is the attacker that is communicated to, what is what's it, and whatever the protocol used. Okay.
Umar bhai, I have a question. How can we use Wireshark as a blue team hacker? How can we use it?
So blue team is something different, hacker is something different.
As
You
a
want to
blue,
use it
as
as
a
a
blue team,
hacker?
no, as a blue team member, how can we use Wireshark?
So as a blue team, you want to use Wireshark, right?
Yeah.
When the network gets compromised, you will be responsible to identify how was it compromised, meaning that you will need to identify what kind of protocol the attacker used and what was the domain that he used, and if he had any server that he's communicating through, you will know that. So whatever detail you need, whatever the attacker, whatever the network details that you need regarding the attacker, that's how. Tomorrow I'm going to show you how to investigate one PCAP file. So let me share with you a cheat sheet as well for Wireshark so that you guys can use that.
Okay. As far as I know, Wireshark can only capture the live traffic. That's up to my system. I can capture the packets which is going in to or from my system. But I have a question: how can I implement it in a network? Do it
You
requires
want to
any
implement what?
special
You want to implement, you want to capture the
Wireshark?
traffic? You want to capture the traffic?
Yeah, I want to capture traffic for a local area network. So
For local
can
area
I?
networks, see, you have to be connected to, let's say if I want to capture the traffic of my network, means that I need to be connected to my network, right? I need to be in the network, enable to see the flow of the network. And that happens through Wireshark. I showed you how to capture the traffic through Wireshark. You just have to enable, like, okay, let me share my screen again.
I can understand that, but my question is something else. Let's
Yes,
let's
please.
make an analogy. Okay, let's suppose we have a network of a network of an office or university. Okay, so
Okay.
where shall do Wireshark will just only capture traffic going in or out from my system. So how
Yeah.
can I analyze the traffic for other systems or
So
nodes?
you cannot analyze the traffic from other system until you're in the network of that system, right? You need to first you need to gain access to the university's network, and from that network you can capture traffic. And the other solution is you create a fake AP access point where you let the people in, and then whoever is near the university, you can see whatever they're doing. Like let's say if they're visiting facebook.com, you can see either you let them in your network to capture their traffic, or either you are in their network. Understand what I'm saying? You need to attack the university's network. You need to be in the university's network, in order to capture the traffic. You got my point?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so I was sharing with you the cheat sheet, right? This is very useful. You guys can use this to use different filters in order to understand the traffic. So whenever I investigated different compromises, I was able to get my answers through the endpoint protection tool or through the same solution that we had. We did not, we were not, there was no need to take a PCAP file and analyze it, right? We used the tools that was given, like XDR from Palo Alto. We used that tool because that tool was so useful to us, because we understood what every port used and how the attacker was in our network. So we didn't actually analyze any file from PCAP, but that is the requirement to understand how the network works. You will be able to analyze the traffic. I'm sharing with you this cheat sheet. You guys can see ChatGPT is available, Blackbox is available, Perplexity AI is available. Every tool is available for you. But if you just paste these questions, and you can also upload the file, right? He's gonna give you the answer, but try to learn from him. How was he able to get this answer, right? Tell him to act as a hacker and tell him to investigate that as an attacker. He will give you the hints that you need. I'm sharing with you this file here. Just download this file and use it as you wish. Insert different commands. You will get your answers. You can answer all the questions. Session. Says why should I? I'm going to share it with you on WhatsApp, okay? And that's like 124 KB. Session. Okay, were you guys able to? So that's 5 megabytes. That's not an empty file, okay? That PCAP file. Anything from before I go? Mr. Chikuzi, you were questioning me about something, right? You were not satisfied with the answer. Am I correct? Did you leave? Oh, Mr. Chikuzi, you're not audible. Anyone have any question before we end this session?
Hello, hello, sir. Please,
Yes,
I
yes,
want to ask a question revolving around the Wireshark, right? So I know that. Why do we prefer to use Wireshark to do analysis? Why we have other tools that we can use like TCP DOM? So why do we prefer Wireshark other than tools like TCP DOM, sir?
So TCP dump is, what is TCP dump? And how it is different from Wireshark, right? See, Wireshark has many options. You can see different packets. TCP dump is something else. TCP dump is not used for PCAP analysis. Do you know what
Sorry,
is
sir.
TCP dump? Do you have the tool TCP dump?
You
Have
say,
you used
pardon,
TCP
sir?
dump before?
Yes, I've used it. It's more like command line, right?
Yes,
I've
it's
used
more like
that.
command line. So Wireshark, it has a GUI, right?
Yes, yes.
If you want to analyze it using Wireshark, you can do that as well. I do not have any problem with that. Or you
Oh,
want me to
okay. Oh,
analyze it through TCP dump?
no, no.
Okay. You're just asking a question. So we'll be using
Yes.
Wireshark instead of TCP dump, okay? Because I have an expertise on that more than TCP dump. I've used Wireshark more than TCP dump. I haven't used TCP dump that much. Okay.
Okay, sir. Please, can Wireshark be used to analyze a larger file, right? So in the case where the file you want to analyze is so big, right? So you get how can Wireshark be actually used to do that?
Okay. So I have shared with you a cheat sheet, and based on what question he's asking, you can try different commands to get an answer. I'm gonna take you through the steps tomorrow, and you'll understand how I have and why
like why am I even using that command, right? What comes to my mind to use that command? So tomorrow I'm going to show you that. Do not worry about that. And
Okay, okay,
you,
okay, sir.
yes, you will get the answers. And I know, see, that packet has around let me see, that packet alone has 4,000. Yes, 4,889, around 5,000 packets. So what kind of commands do we need to use in order to get our answers, right? I know that's the right question to ask, but I'm gonna take you tomorrow through those steps. And why would I even think in that first place of that command, right? So I'm gonna you will be satisfied with the answer. Once you see the working, you will be satisfied. Tomorrow, let's do the practical one first, because theory is a little bit boring, right? So let's do the practical one first, and then we'll be continuing with the theoretical part. Okay,
Okay, okay, okay, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you.
no problem. Anyone have any question before we end this session? No one? Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Mr. Mohammed.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर। सर
Walaikum
आज
assalam.
हमने जो जो किया है सर, मैं तो अलर्ट आया सेशन में। सर आप बताएं, मैं इसके बारे में बाकी अपना एनालिसिस भी करूँगा। चैट जी
हमने तो बहुत कुछ कर लिया। अच्छा, मैं
मतलब
आपको जो थ्रू
सर शॉर्ट शॉर्ट बताए बस।
मैं शॉर्ट करके आपको बता देता हूँ, ठीक है।
ओ-
हमारे पास
जी सर।
कितना लेट आए थे वैसे, क्या क्या सुना आपने अब तक?
सर मैं तकरीबन 20 मिनट तकरीबन 25 मिनट लेट आया सर। जस्ट बताए मैं यहाँ पे डॉक्यूमेंट बना रहा हूँ अपने लिए ना सर, फिर मैं उसे देखता हूँ बाद में, सेशन के बाद में देखता हूँ।
अच्छा, डॉक्यूमेंट बना रहे हो। ओके ओके ओके।
जी
आई थिंक आपने फिर सुना ही होगा, या फिर भी आपको थ्रू जो भी हमने अभी पढ़ा है मैं उसकी साथ ही देखो, हम लोगों ने पढ़ा है अभी नेटवर्क फंडामेंटल्स, ठीक है।
यस
फंडामेंटल्स में हम लोगों ने पढ़ा है कि ओएसआई लेयर्स क्या होते हैं और
यस सर।
आईपी मॉडल क्या होता है, ठीक है। ओएसआई लेयर हमारे पास कुछ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है ना ओएसआई लेयर होती है, और कुछ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हमारे पास टीसीपी आईपी यूज करते हैं, ठीक है। इसके अंदर हम लोगों ने देखा कि कौन क्या हर लेयर में क्या क्या हो रहा है, एंड देन हम लोगों ने देखा कि इसके अंदर कौन से प्रोटोकॉल्स यूज होते हैं। और ओएसआई लेयर का फ्रेमवर्क ऐसा है कि जैसे हम लोगों ने, हमारे पास एक पैकेट है, ठीक है, और अब इस पैकेट को डेस्टिनेशन पे पहुंचना है। मींस दैट अगर मैं यहाँ पे google.com लिखता हूँ तो इट मींस कि यहाँ से एक पैकेट इनिशिएट हो गया,
यस सर।
अंटिल वो डेस्टिनेशन google.com पे पहुंचकर वो आपको गूगल दिखाएगा, ठीक है। ये उसका पर्पस है। तो ये
यस
जो
सर।
पैकेट इनिशिएट आपने किया अंटिल इट रीचेस टू एप्लीकेशन लेयर,
ओके सर। ओके सर।
ठीक है। ये हो गया आपका ओएसआई लेयर। टीसीपी आईपी भी सेम है, लेकिन इसके अंदर सेशन लेयर नहीं होता, ठीक है, और प्रेजेंटेशन लेयर भी है, ठीक है। ये तीनों मर्ज होकर एप्लीकेशन लेयर बन जाती है आपके पास, ठीक है।
ओके
और
सर।
बाकी सेम होता है, जैसे कि आपके पास ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर है तो टीसीपी आईपी में भी ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर है, नेटवर्क लेयर है तो इधर भी नेटवर्क लेयर है, डेटा
यस सर।
लिंक
ओके
लेयर, ठीक है। फिजिकल और इधर भी फिजिकल,
ओके सर।
ठीक है। अब इसके अंदर हम लोग डिटेल में गए थे कि जैसे कि हमारे पास फिजिकल लेयर में क्या हो रहा है, कि कैसे वो एक नॉर्मल सिग्नल्स को कन्वर्ट करता है, मतलब डिजिटल डेटा को कन्वर्ट करता है टू इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इलेक्ट्रिकल ऑप्टिकल सिग्नल्स में। और इसके अंदर कैसा डेटा रेट वगैरह, कैसे फिजिकल टेक्नोलॉजी कैसे ये हैंडल करते हैं फिजिकल लेयर,
डेटा लिंक लेयर में मैक एड्रेसेस कैसे एक डिवाइस के आइडेंटिफाई हो रहे हैं, ठीक है। मतलब वो एक मैक एड्रेस को लेता है और बोलता है ओके ठीक है ये डिवाइस ए का मैक एड्रेस है, फिर डिवाइस बी का मैक एड्रेस है, ठीक है।
ओके सर।
इसके अंदर करेक्शन होती है फ्रेमवर्क्स की। और अगर फॉर एग्जांपल अगर यहाँ से कोई डेटा ब्रेक हो जाता है, किसी पॉइंट से डेटा ब्रेक हो जाता है, तो वापस वो डेटा लिंक पे जाकर अपनी रिकवरी करता है, ठीक है। नेटवर्क लेयर में ये पॉइंट, ये रिकवरी पॉइंट बनते हैं टू डेटा लिंक लेयर।
ओके सर।
बाकी आपके पास ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर है। ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर के अंदर टीसीपी यूडीपी यूज किया था। सेशन लेयर के अंदर हम लोगों ने बताया था कि कैसे सेशन मेंटेन होता है। सेशन लेयर ऑल्सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल मैनेज करता है एक सेशन को। अगर एक यूजर लॉग इन हुआ है तो उस सेशन को मेंटेन रखने में ये लेयर।
ओके सर।
और उसके बाद फिर हम लोगों ने देखा कि फेमस पोर्ट्स और प्रोटोकॉल्स क्या है। जैसे कि अगर हमारे पास ईमेल में है तो ईमेल कैसे यूज होता है, POP3 क्या होता है, IPAP क्या होता है। इसके अंदर जो डिफरेंट आपका प्रोटोकॉल डिफरेंट सर्विसेज इसको अब्यूज कैसे करते हैं।
यस सर।
और अब जैसे कि हमारे पास SMB ले लो, पोर्ट 445 ले लो, तो इसको अटैकर कैसे अब्यूज करेंगे। तो मैंने हमारे बॉयज और लेडीज और जेंटलमैन को यही बोला था कि हम लोग जब भी एक अटैक का सिनेरियो बनाते हैं तो हमारा माइंड हमेशा, मतलब हमारा माइंड सेट ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम इसको अटैक कैसे कर सकते हैं।
यस
जब
सर।
हम लोग ये माइंड सेट बनाएंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली हमारे पास वो पैरामीटर्स आ जाएंगे। ओके, अगर हम ब्रूट फोर्स करते हैं तो ब्रूट फोर्स की सिक्योरिटी हार्डनिंग ये है कि हमारे पास कोई भी पब्लिक आईपी से इस आईपी पे हिट ना पड़े, ठीक है। हम लोग एक सिक्योरिटी व्हाइट लिस्टिंग रूल बना के हम लोग जो है ना अपने फायरवॉल इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे।
ओके सर।
और उसके बाद फिर हम लोगों ने ये हो गया था हम लोगों ने उसके बाद हम लोगों ने पढ़ा कि एक नॉर्मल ट्रैफिक, मलिशियस ट्रैफिक क्या होती है, ठीक है। अगर फॉर एग्जांपल हम लोगों ने, हमारे पास एक लिंक आया है, ठीक है। हर एक लिंक पे हम लोगों ने क्लिक किया तो एक लिंक को जाना चाहिए है तो
सर।
माइक्रोसॉफ्ट लॉगिन पेज पर, लेकिन वो किसी और लिंक पे जा रहा है।
ओके सर।
तो वहां पर जो बैठा है जिसका लिंक है, पीछे अटैकर बैठा है जो क्रेडेंशियल हार्वेस्ट कर रहा है, क्रेडेंशियल अपने पास नोट कर रहा है। तो हम लोगों ने नॉर्मल ट्रैफिक को एनालाइज किया। सबसे पहले नॉर्मल ट्रैफिक क्या होती है। हमारे पास यूजर ए है एक पॉकेट में, वो यूजर कोशिश करता है कि मुझे SSMP का शेयर है फला फला जगह पे, लेट्स से सर्वर पे, और मुझे उस सर्वर पे जाकर ऑथेंटिकेट करना एज ए यूजर, मैं उधर से जाके डेटा जो भी मेरा मतलब होगा मैं राइट काम करना।
ओके सर।
इन ऑर्डर टू अब्यूज दैट, तो हम लोग जो है देखते हैं कि एक अटैकर आता है rather than के लाइक ही इज नॉट इंटेंडेड टू के वो ऑथराइज भी नहीं है, वो आता है और ग्रुप वर्क करता है, क्रेडेंशियल देता है, लॉगिन करता है और वो डेटा एक्सप्लॉइट करके लगता है, राइट। तो दैट्स हाउ यू नो कि ये मलिशियस ट्रैफिक है। अगर फॉर एग्जांपल google.com की जगह वो google.ac समथिंग आगे कुछ अलग डोमेन पे चला गया,
ओके सर।
जो उसकी डेस्टिनेशन थी उस डेस्टिनेशन पे नहीं गया, नॉर्मल ट्रैफिक से हट गया, वो मलिशियस ट्रैफिक में चला गया।
ओके,
जो चेंज करना है। हमारे पास पैकेट बेस्ड और फ्लो बेस्ड की मॉनिटरिंग हम लोगों ने समझाई, बट ये बहुत डिटेल हो जाती है इन द नेटवर्क। और हमारे पास मॉडर्न टूल्स जो लगे हैं जैसे XDR हो गया, जैसे सिम सोल्यूशन हो गया, दे ऑलरेडी डूइंग पैकेट बेस्ड फिल्टरिंग एंड दे आर ऑलरेडी डूइंग फ्लो बेस्ड फिल्टरिंग, और फिर वो हमें अलर्ट्स और इवेंट्स देता है बेस्ड ऑन दैट।
ओके सर।
इसको समझने में ऐसा है कि पैकेट बेस्ड में ईच पैकेट, मतलब कि अगर मैंने ABC टाइप किया तो जो भी प्रोटोकॉल यूज होंगे ABC के पहुंचने तक, वो सारी प्रोटोकॉल आपके पास थ्रू पैकेट्स आ गए, ईच पैकेट क्रिएटेड और थ्रू पैकेट्स आ गए। फ्लो बेस में वो सिर्फ फ्लो बताता है, एक जनरलाइज, मतलब लेट्स से कि वो मेरे पास सर्वर ए है राइट, वो पब्लिक सर्वर पे जाएगा एंड देन पब्लिक सर्वर से वो जाके सर्च करेगा गूगल का IP एंड देन गूगल के हेडक्वार्टर में जाके ओके ये गूगल है तो वो उस सर्वर पे जाएगा, सर्वर ए गूगल का, ठीक है। ये फ्लो वाइज आ गया। यहाँ पे हम लोग का ईच पैकेट आ गया कि इस पैकेट में ये प्रोटोकॉल। आप लोग को लग रहा होगा कि मैं उर्दू में इसको ज्यादा अच्छा एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ, हाँ, लेकिन कोई मसला नहीं है यार, हो जाता है कभी कभार ना।
बिल्कुल सर।
This is what we explain and then we move। फिर हम लोगों ने जो है ना वाइड की बात किया। अच्छा, हम लोगों ने अभी एक स्क्रीनर के नाम से एक फाइल थी, हम लोग को उसको एनालाइज करने बैठे
बिल्कुल
थे।
सर, ओके सर।
हाँ, वो कुछ मसला हुआ था उधर, वो आई गेस वो फाइल ही करप्ट है जहाँ से मैं डाउनलोड कर लूंगा। तो
Okay,
अब
sir.
हम लोगों ने दूसरा वो लिया, दूसरा थोड़ा सा एडवांस हो जाता है। ये ना बहुत बेसिक था, जो हम लोगों ने पहली फाइल थी बहुत बेसिक थी, ये थोड़ा सा ना एडवांस हो जाता है, ठीक है।
बिल्कुल सर।
तो इसमें जो है ना ट्राई टुमारो इंशाल्लाह।
इंशाल्लाह।
हम लोग कल इंशाल्लाह इसको एनालाइज करेंगे साथ में, और एनीवन किसी को कुछ भी मसला होगा, कोई मसला आएगा, हम लोग साथ में मिलकर देख लेंगे।
ओके इंशाल्लाह सर।
मैंने चीट शीट भी शेयर कर दी आप लोगों के साथ। तो
बिल्कुल सर। सर ये जो पाए ना सर वर्कशॉप में, सर हम इसको वर्कशॉप के थ्रू एनालाइज करेंगे सर। आप ये क्वेश्चन हमारे साथ है ना सर, हम इसको भी एनालाइज करेंगे कि ये मसला आया हुआ है, हम इसको कैसे अब हैंडल करें।
अब देखो, वायरशार्क पीकैप फाइल आ गई, इसका मतलब मसला है, राइट। अब इस मसले के अंदर से ये देखना है कि मसला कौन है, अटैकर कौन है, पैरामीटर उसने उसने इंडिकेटर हमें निकालना है कि कंप्रोमाइज के इंडिकेटर क्या है, कि उसने उसका आईपी क्या था, उसने जब कनेक्ट किया सर्वर पे वो क्या था।
ओके
ठीक
सर।
है,
ओके सर, आई अंडरस्टैंड सर, थैंक यू सर।
no problem. I think let's end this session, and I'm gonna see you all tomorrow, inshallah. Yes.
Okay, sir, please, can I ask you, not actually a question, sir. So the question that you dropped on the WhatsApp group, are we meant to analyze and provide the answers?
No, I have deleted that file. I've already deleted that file. Yeah, just go back and check it. It does not exist anymore. I have deleted that file so that the confusion is not created, right? I have deleted that file, and only the file that is existing right now, the PK file, is meant to is meant to be analyzed. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem. Okay, everyone, have a good one. Okay. Allah Hafiz.